The Maddox Auto Shop sat at the edge of a dusty Texas highway, known more for oil stains than miracles. Sierra Maddox, just 13, spent her weekends there, not scrolling her phone or hanging with friends, but under the hood of broken-down cars, her hands greasy, eyes sharp. Her father, Hank Maddox, was a legend in the town, an old-school mechanic with a reputation built over 30 years of grit. But today, everything changed. A sleek black SUV rolled into the shop like it didn't belong. Out stepped Mr. Rourke, regional director of Cigna Motors. His suit was too clean for this place. He was followed by a team of engineers in a crate that looked more military-grade than mechanical. "We've got a prototype engine no one can fix," Rourke announced, his tone more mocking than hopeful. 10 experts failed. "We brought it here for laughs." Hank shook his head, wiping sweat from his brow. "That we fix real engines, not corporate riddles." Sierra, standing in the corner with her coveralls half-zipped and a wrench in hand, tilted her head. "What kind of engine?" Rourke raised an eyebrow. "You." She stepped forward. "I've read every Cigna schematic. Let me try." The room chuckled. Rourke smirked. "All right, kid. You fix it, you get a scholarship. Fail, you and your dad never touch another Cigna car." Hank's face turned pale. "Sierra, no." But she nodded. "Let me try." The crate opened with a hiss. Inside was a bizarre, complex machine with hybrid tubing and digital cores definitely not in any manual. Rourke leaned back, arms crossed. Sierra rolled up her sleeves. "Let's see what your experts missed." What no one knew was this impossible engine was hiding something no one expected. Silence settled over the shop like a weight. Sierra knelt beside the prototype engine, her eyes scanning the tangled mess of wires, sensors, and unfamiliar components. That it wasn't just complicated, it was intentionally misleading. She could see it in the redundancies, in the forced complexity. Someone wanted this to fail. The Cigna engineers stood in the corner, arms folded, whispering to each other. One of them scoffed, "This isn't a science fair. She'll fry the core in minutes," but Sierra wasn't touching anything yet. She studied. Observed. Her mind worked like a scanner, building the system in her head piece by piece. There was a rhythm to machines, like music, and this one had discord in it. Errors that didn't belong. Hank watched nervously from behind, wringing the brim of his cap. He'd taught her everything he knew, but this was alien. Sierra grabbed a tablet, connected it to the diagnostic port, and ran a basic scan. Instantly, the tablet glitched. She smirked. They masked the feedback loop. Mr. Rourke looked up. "Excuse me." "The data's been intentionally scrambled," Sierra said, eyes narrowing. "Someone didn't want this engine to be fixed. They wanted it to fail." The engineers exchanged uneasy glances. Rourke stepped closer. "That's a serious accusation, young lady." Sierra tapped a command into the tablet. The engine lights flickered, and suddenly, the interface cleared. The actual schematic appeared, simpler, elegant. "And flawed, there," she pointed. "Right intake valve is designed to overheat after 30 minutes of use. It's a design flaw, or sabotage." Gasps filled the room. One engineer cursed under his breath. Another pulled out his phone to take a photo. Rourke's jaw tightened. Sierra looked up calmly. "You didn't bring this here for laughs. You brought it here hoping no one would notice what your team built wrong. And now, someone had." A 13-year-old mechanic's daughter. You could hear a pin drop. The engineers stared at Sierra like she had just spoken another language. But she hadn't. She'd spoken truth, flawless, technical truth that couldn't be denied. Mr. Rourke's confident smirk had vanished. His lips were a thin line now, his eyes narrowed as if trying to read between Sierra's calm, clear words. One of the engineers, graying, sharp-featured, stepped forward. "This girl's bluffing. There's no way she could know that from a quick scan. She doesn't even know what this system is." But Sierra didn't blink. She calmly turned the tablet to face them, rewinding the log. I do know. It's a modified hybrid compression model. Only 4 companies use this layout. And all of them learn the hard way, compressor failure kills performance if the coolant isn't rebalanced. She tapped again, there. The temperature readings were looped to show stable output. But real-time voltage spikes say otherwise. This engine was doomed to shut down mid-run. Hank, standing in the corner, couldn't help a small grin. That was his girl. Rourke raised a hand to silence his team. How did you even know where to look? I didn't, Sierra admitted. I just listened. Every machine tells a story. This one was screaming sabotage. The silence deepened. Then, slowly, Rourke walked over and disconnected the tablet. He studied her for a long moment. Who are you? He asked. Sierra Maddox, she said, wiping her hands on a shop rag. Daughter of Hank Maddox. Mechanic's daughter. One of the younger engineers muttered, she just exposed what our diagnostics missed for 6 weeks. Rourke's expression was unreadable. But he turned to his team and said flatly, leave. All of you. As they filed out, whispering and shaken, he looked back at Sierra. This isn't over. Rourke didn't sit. He loomed. Sierra stood her ground, the engine's diagnostic tablet still in her hands. Her heart was pounding, but she didn't flinch. Hank watched nervously from the corner, but he knew better than to interrupt. Rourke finally spoke. You caught something my best engineers missed. I don't like being shown up in my own house. Sierra met his gaze. Then maybe your house needs a new foundation. His jaw twitched. All right, he said slowly, voice heavy with authority. Let's see if you're more than a clever mouth. I've got something no one's been able to fix. Top minds failed. It's not just broken, it's impossible. He turned and waved for them to follow. They walked down a long hallway to a locked, windowless room. Inside sat a bizarre, compact engine, sleek but unfinished, its insides tangled with cables and circuits. It didn't look like anything Sierra had ever seen. This, Rourke said, is the prototype for Project Tundra. Military-grade, AI-synced engine. Autonomous failure detection. It was supposed to revolutionize aerospace. But it's dead. Keeps shorting during boot. No one can figure out why. Sierra moved closer. The engine seemed quiet. Like a puzzle begging to be solved. Rourke crossed his arms. Fix it. You have 1 hour. If you can even get it to purr, I'll let you speak in tomorrow's boardroom. If not, he glanced at Hank, you and your father are done here. Hank's face hardened, but he stayed silent. Sierra stepped forward and laid her hand on the prototype's shell. She could feel the hum, faint, uncertain, like a heartbeat underwater. All right, she said, rolling up her sleeves. Challenge accepted. She wasn't just fighting to fix an engine, she was fighting for respect, legacy, and her father's name. Sierra opened the engine's access panel, eyes scanning the internals like a codebreaker hunting for a cipher. Everything was tight, too tight. Wires overlapped, circuits mismatched, and connectors forced into places they clearly didn't belong. It wasn't just broken. It was sabotage. She didn't say it out loud, not yet. Rourke was watching her like a hawk from behind the reinforced glass window above. Engineers and executives gathered beside him, smirking, whispering. To them, this was a spectacle, watching a kid squirm, but Sierra wasn't squirming. She was calculating. She isolated the AI core's mainframe first, noticing a crucial interface chip had been swapped with an older model. The system was talking in one language, but the translator was outdated. No wonder the engine kept shorting out. She looked back at her father. His hands were clenched, but his eyes burned with belief. Sierra grabbed her small tool pouch, pulled out a micro-soldering iron, and got to work. With surgical precision, she bypassed the faulty translator, patched a temporary neural bridge, and rewired the input terminal. The clock ticked, the pressure mounting, but her hands never shook. With 12 minutes left, she rebooted the system. The engine sputtered, coughed, then purred. A low, rhythmic hum filled the room. The glass panel above went still. Every smirk vanished. Rourke leaned in, stunned. The engine's HUD lit up with green diagnostics. Fully functional. Running clean, Sierra stood, grease smudging her face, pride glowing behind her eyes. She didn't just fix it. She understood it. The impossible wasn't impossible. It was just waiting for someone to see it differently. She looked up at the executives. Your engine didn't fail, she said. It was never given a chance. And just like that, the air shifted. Sierra Maddox had just stepped into legend. The workshop was buzzing with shocked whispers. Sierra's success sent ripples through the room. No one expected a 13-year-old mechanic's daughter to outsmart the best engineers and fix the impossible engine. Rourke's face was pale. His usual smugness vanished, replaced by disbelief and something else, fear. He realized his plan had backfired spectacularly. The sabotage meant to discredit the Maddox family and their shop was exposed, and by Sierra, news traveled fast. Within hours, videos of Sierra's triumph went viral. Social media exploded with praise for the girl who fixed the broken engine that experts had written off. Boss dares mechanic's daughter to fix impossible engine. She shocks everyone, trended worldwide. Back at the shop, her father, Marcus Maddox, felt a mixture of pride and anxiety. This attention wasn't just good news, it was a spotlight on their small garage, their family, and the secrets they had unknowingly been dragged into. Rourke, however, was already scheming. If public embarrassment didn't stop Sierra, he'd find another way. He had powerful connections and deep pockets. But for now, he had to hold his tongue. Meanwhile, Sierra's confidence grew. She knew this was just the beginning. Her discovery wasn't just a fix, it was proof that the engine's failure was deliberate sabotage, a dangerous secret hidden within the company's walls. The corporate world was rattled. Executives demanded answers. Federal inspectors hinted at investigations. Sierra's small act of defiance ignited a firestorm, but Sierra wasn't looking for fame or glory. She wanted justice. For her family. For every honest mechanic who'd been pushed aside. As she cleaned her tools, her mind raced with questions. Who did this? Why? And how far were they willing to go to silence her? One thing was clear, Sierra Maddox wasn't just a mechanic's daughter anymore. She was a force to be reckoned with. The days after the engine fix brought a storm of scrutiny. Federal inspectors arrived unannounced, combing through records and interviewing every employee. Sierra's shop, once just a local garage, was now a frontline in a corporate war. Marcus worried about the safety of his family. The threats from unknown sources had started, anonymous calls, shadowy figures lurking near the shop. But Sierra remained fearless. She knew the truth was her strongest weapon. Meanwhile, Sierra dug deeper into the engine's sabotage. She discovered tiny, almost invisible scratches inside the prototype's critical parts, deliberate tampering. Whoever did this knew the design intimately. It wasn't just a random act, it was calculated, precise, and personal. Her investigation led her to a surprising source, a whistleblower inside the company. The man was terrified but wanted to expose the corruption. He revealed that Rourke wasn't acting alone. A powerful faction within the corporation was determined to crush any competition, even if it meant risking lives. Sierra felt a mix of fear and determination. This wasn't just about engines anymore, it was about exposing a corrupt system that valued greed over safety and honesty. Word of her findings reached Rourke, who grew desperate. He tried to bribe, intimidate, and threaten, but Sierra stood firm. The community rallied behind her. Support poured in from mechanics, engineers, and everyday people inspired by her courage. Her story became a beacon of hope against corporate greed, shining light on the dark corners of the industry. But the danger was real, and closer than she thought. One evening, as she left the shop, Sierra noticed a car following her. She quickened her pace, heart pounding. The fight was far from over. And Sierra was ready. The tension was palpable as Sierra realized she was being followed. She ducked into a crowded cafe, hoping to lose whoever was tailing her. But when she glanced back, the car was still there, idling just outside the window. Her phone buzzed. A message popped up from an unknown number: "Stop digging, or things will get worse." Sierra's fingers trembled but her resolve hardened. She refused to be intimidated. The next morning, Marcus insisted on installing extra security cameras around the shop. Sierra agreed. It was time to be cautious without losing focus. Meanwhile, Rourke's frustration turned into desperation. He arranged a private meeting with Sierra, hoping to scare her into silence. But instead, Sierra walked in with a plan. She was ready to expose everything. "Why are you doing this?" she asked him calmly, eyes steady. Rourke sneered. "Because this company is my life. If you ruin it, you ruin me. But you're risking people's lives. You sabotaged the engine to cover your mistakes," Sierra said firmly. "I won't let you get away with it." She revealed the evidence she'd collected, the scratches, the whistleblower's confession, the threats, all documented and backed up. The meeting ended with Rourke storming out, furious and powerless. For the first time, Sierra didn't back down. Instead, she reached out to a major news outlet, sharing her story. Within hours, her courage sparked a wildfire of support nationwide. The shop became a symbol of truth and resilience. But Sierra knew the battle wasn't over. Powerful enemies were still out there, watching and waiting. As night fell, Sierra looked at her father and said, "This is just the beginning." Marcus nodded. "We stand with you, kid. No matter what." The impossible engine had revealed more than a fix. It uncovered a fight for justice. The next morning, Sierra's story blew up across the nation. Major news channels picked up the exposé, sharing her bravery and the dangerous sabotage at the Ayudo shop. Social media exploded with support. Thousands shared her story, praising the young mechanic's daughter who dared to stand against corruption. Sierra woke up to dozens of messages from strangers offering help, job offers, and encouragement. The hashtag #FixTheImpossible trended worldwide. Meanwhile, the company's CEO could no longer ignore the scandal. Pressured by the media and shareholders, he called an emergency board meeting. Rourke was quickly suspended pending a full investigation. Sierra was invited to appear on a popular talk show to tell her side. Nervous but determined, she explained how she uncovered the sabotage, what it meant for safety and why standing up was necessary, even when it was risky. Her calm confidence impressed millions watching. Sierra became an instant role model for young people everywhere. Back at the shop, the atmosphere shifted. Workers who once feared retaliation now saw Sierra as a beacon of hope. The union pushed for stricter safety measures and transparency. Marcus was proud but worried. "You've shaken the whole industry, Sierra. That's no small thing." Sierra smiled. "I'm just glad the truth is out." But not everyone was happy. Threatening letters continued, and surveillance revealed suspicious figures lurking near their home. Sierra and her family hired private security. They knew this fight would be long and hard, but with national attention and growing support, Sierra had become unstoppable. She wasn't just the mechanic's daughter anymore, she was the voice of change, and she was ready to drive it forward. With the investigation underway, the auto company faced a reckoning. Rourke was fired, and several other employees involved in the sabotage were arrested. The board pledged to overhaul their operations, promising transparency and stricter safety protocols. Sierra's bravery had sparked a movement, inspiring young people to pursue their passions fearlessly. Tech companies and engineering firms reached out to offer her scholarships and internships. One afternoon, Sierra received a call from a prestigious automotive research institute. They invited her to join their youth innovation program, recognizing her natural talent and courage. At home, the Maddox family celebrated, knowing Sierra's future was brighter than ever. Marcus hugged his daughter tight. "You proved that no matter where you come from, your voice matters." Sierra smiled, thinking back to the day her dad had dared her to try fixing that impossible engine. That challenge had changed everything. School welcomed her newfound confidence too. Teachers and classmates looked at her with newfound respect. Sierra's story had become a lesson in courage, intelligence, and standing up for what's right, but Sierra stayed grounded. She still loved working in the shop, learning every detail about engines and mechanics. Her goal was clear: to design safer, smarter engines that couldn't be sabotaged. Months later, Sierra returned to the shop, this time with a team of engineers and mentors. Together, they worked on a new prototype, one Sierra helped design from scratch. The shop transformed into a hub of innovation, buzzing with excitement and hope. Sierra Maddox had gone from a mechanic's daughter to a trailblazer, proving that sometimes the biggest surprises come from the most unexpected places. Her story was far from over, it was only just beginning, and the world was watching.